Welcome to the first broadcast of Men's Forum. And of course, on this platform, you will learn so much about how to optimize and up-level your skill sets to become a better man. And in studio today, I have an exceptional talent who is the absolutely best person in my mind to talk to us about men issues. But just before we get into the person I'm introducing is Chris. Chris is an exceptional, talented person, has tremendous success in the real estate industry world, and he's now crossed over to life coaching, where he specializes in working with men. Chris, before we get into the subject matter of men and the Men's Forum, you have just been nominated as the Resilient Speaker of the Year by a movement in Canada. How does it feel to be nominated as a Speaker of the Year?
Yeah, it's good morning, by the way. Yeah, it's great. It's it's crazy. When I got into this, I literally was just trying to pay it forward and help men, because there were some men in my life that helped me, but to realize that this hard work is actually showing itself to other people, and people are grateful for what I'm trying to do. That's the best feeling in the world.
I must say, kudos to you. You have been through your challenges in life, but you have positioned yourself where you embrace success as in the construction world.
Mm-hmm.
You have positioned yourself to be a success as a life coach.
Mm-hmm.
And you're now positioning yourself to touch millions of lives across the world. So I must say, it gives me so much a pleasure to be talking with you, and also collaborating with you to help you to amplify your voice in the minds of men, in the minds of family across the world.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. That was the goal all along, right? Is my goal is to share what I've learned and impact as many lives as possible.
Great. Chris, one of the first thing that I would love us to talk about is men and their role in the family. Are men still the head of the home? And as we look at answering that question, we can look at traditional men. Traditionally, men have been taught that, they are the men, they are the head of the home. But I think a lot of that ideology is challenged based on modern reality changes that are taking place. What are your thoughts? Do you think that men are still strategically positioned as the head of the home?
Yes, I think in a completely healthy, functional relationship, the man still needs to be the head of the household. I do think that you are 100% correct versus traditional, the way we grew up and the way it is now, that role of being head in the household has changed. The dynamic of that role has changed. Back in the day, my dad worked and he made the money, and my mom did his laundry and cooked all his meals and ironed his shirts, and that's the way it was, right? But in this day and age, when you have two people working and two incomes coming in and all those things, you can't expect your wife to be your mom. She doesn't have the time to do all your laundry and iron your shirts and cook all your meals, right? So
and take care of the kids at the same time.
Right. And if she does do all that, then she's going to have a major resentment because she's putting in 80% and you're putting in 20. So the dynamic of that role has changed. Yes, I talk to a lot of women. I've been married myself for a long time, and there's not a woman out there that wants to be your mom. She wants a partner. She wants somebody that is going to pour into her life like she's pouring into their life, right? So if you're just there on the monetary side of things, then you're not her partner. You're a paycheck.
You got it. I do believe a lot of what you're saying has relevance. I do believe a lot has changed from the traditional men, and we will talk in a few of what it takes to be the head of the home. We will talk about that, but I think that a lot has changed. Back in the days that you refer to, because I grew up seeing my dad as the head of the home, and he's the one who went out and to make things happen. My dad was in the army, but I know I could recall seeing him, in his army uniform, but I can also remember seeing him as, getting out there and hustling and making things happen. My mom was the primary caregiver at
Hmm.
home. Of course, there were times that you had some assistance at home, but at the end of the day, she was the primary
Hmm.
caregiver. In those days, again, we see that a single source of income could have taken you very, very far away.
Hmm.
He could have experienced a middle class life
Hmm.
with a single source of income. But I do believe with social changes and economic changes that has taken place over many years, there are a lot of dynamics that has changed in the role of women in the home.
Yep.
Many women today, they have been called out back into the workforce. And I think because of the fact that they have been called into the workforce to support and supplement income, it has created some change, some for good and some for bad. I do believe that when a family can come together, and you mention it, a healthy, functioning family, the woman still know her place in the relationship, and
Hmm.
not necessarily because they might be equal income coming in or more income coming in on her part. She trivialized the significant role of men
Hmm.
in the family, in the home. So we can also look at it. I think when two persons can come together, it really helps to accelerate the pathway to build wealth. But again, it must represent what you said. There must be a healthy, functioning family. How do you see the two partners coming together as a family and positioning the family itself, male, to be, more stronger? How do you see that?
Yeah, the first thing is, we both know because we've been in long-term relationships, right? And it's not something you just figure out when you're 21 years old, right? That
Yes,
doesn't happen.
definitely not.
It's a lifelong journey, right? And
Yeah.
as you go through this building of a family and that most intimate relationship with your partner, that role is constantly changing, right? So
Yeah.
you have to overcome and adapt and change with it. If you're not evolving, then you're getting left behind. It's
Hmm.
the same in a relationship, right? So you are 100% correct. You know a little bit about my dynamic.
Yeah.
My wife is a medical professional. She's also in the Army Reserves. As a medical professional in the reserves, and all that wasn't going on when we were younger, right? So her dynamic has changed. Therefore, my dynamic as a partner has had to change. And a
Yeah.
relationship is, I always hear, oh, relationships are 50-50. No, they're not. They're whatever you need that day, right? I might only
You
be
got
able
it.
I might only be able to give her 20% that day. So that means she needs to give 80%.
Hmm.
And then
I love that.
the next day it might flop. The next day she might be having a really horrible day and she needs everything I got to help her get through that day,
Yeah.
right? And that's what a functional relationship is being
Yes.
there for however your partner needs you.
I love that. I think it's bringing in 101% of
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
into that relationship.
Yeah.
And I love that you also spoke about, the evolution in
Mhm.
relationship. You got to evolve.
Mhm.
A lot of things has changed.
Mhm.
And if you're not changing socially, if you're not changing economically, if you're not changing in mindset, the possibility exists that, you can end up hurting yourself.
Yeah,
Um,
and like you said, the dynamic has changed, right? It used to be back in the day, a guy could work at a corporation for 40 years and get a good pension, and they could retire and travel and do all that off their pension, right? That's not
yeah.
reality. That's not reality.
Hmm.
A lot of us, by the time we're old enough to retire, there's not even going to be any Social Security left,
Hmm.
right? So you have to do more than just work one job. You have to have multiple income streams. If you want to get to the point that everybody is trying to get to where you can retire and travel and achieve financial freedom and those kind of things, just working 9 to 5 is not going to cut it.
Yeah, I'm happy that you have said that, and we're going to go deep into financial intelligence,
Mhm.
and but I want us to look now at some of the things that you think is essential for men to not only know their role but to function effectively in their role as the head of the
Mhm.
home.
Yeah.
There are five things that I want us to cover today. I want to cover men and their strong sense of self. I want
Mhm.
to cover things like men knowing their purpose. I
Mm-hmm.
want to cover things like men having a positive sense of direction.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I want us to look at men and financial security
Mm-hmm.
and men and social security, because I do believe these are essential things to nurture that healthy relationship. And I know that regardless of how you want to look at it, I do believe that the adult woman, she needs financial security and she needs that social security. So I
Mm-hmm.
want us to do a little deep dive into some of them. Can we begin by looking at men and purpose? You know, men know thyself. Do you think that men today, modern men today, they struggle with that clear sense of self, knowing who they are? How important do you think this is?
Yeah, I think it's the most important thing, right? And I don't think it's just men today. I think men all time have struggled with who they are, right? I
Mm,
struggled with it for over 40 years. I went through all these different achievements in life and thought that if I just achieved this, it was going to fill me. If I just achieved that, it was going to fulfill me, right? The fulfillment never came. The problem is that I didn't know, exactly like you said, I didn't know what my true purpose was, right? I thought my purpose was to sing on stage. Then I thought my purpose was to become a great construction executive. But my true purpose is what I'm doing right now. It was to help other men lead better lives. And it took a whole lot of trial and error to realize that that's what my true purpose in life is, right? I think that men have always struggled with that. We are told that we need to be a good provider. We need to be this. We need to be that, right? And so we're doing it backwards. The key is to be truly confident, positive, and happy inside. And once you achieve that, then your true purpose reveals itself.
You know, I'm so happy that you have said that. I do believe that men and women, I think that they are born into the world, but very often, I think that largely based on the fact that society is shifting away very rapidly from traditions,
Mhm.
and I do believe it plays a role in creating doubts and confusion
Mhm.
in the minds of both gender in terms of them identifying their specific roles
Mhm.
in the family. And I think compounding with that I don't think people are introduced to a clear understanding of what being a man and living from your true sense of self represents.
Mhm.
So I agree that many persons struggle with finding their sense of self.
Mhm.
And so I'm really happy that a large part of what you do is really helping men
Mhm.
to understand their role in the family, to understand their role to themselves, and to really help them to get to that point where they have that strong sense of self. I think it is vital. I
Yeah.
think, many young men, and because of misguided information, I think they end up, doing things to hurt themselves in more ways than one.
Without a doubt.
I do believe having that sense of self helps you to be anchored. But as time progresses, we're going to go deeper into how to help men to truly define
Mhm.
their sense of self. So can we talk a little bit now about purpose? Because the other thing that I'm seeing is that this is not young men, and I see men and women, but we are speaking specifically here to men. I see the struggle with having a sense of purpose.
Mhm.
How important it is for men today to really connect with purpose and live in that purpose-driven life.
I think it's essential. Like I said, I floundered for a long time because of that not knowing what my true purpose was, right? And the thing
Mm,
was, I was getting it all wrong, like most young men do, right? So, first off, we need to look at what attracts a woman and what attracts someone to want to be in a long term relationship. Initial attraction is looks. Right. Like, when you're young, you're full of muscles, you got no gray hair, right? That's what attracts a woman. Okay. But as you grow and as she grows with you, real long term attraction for a woman is confidence, someone that they can rely on. It's someone that provides them emotional security, right?
mm,
It's those kinds of things. So
yeah.
the sooner you can realize that you can't give that to her. We all want to, there's that old saying, happy wife, happy life. That is totally incorrect. Okay. You cannot make your wife happy. It is not anybody else's job job to make someone else happy. That is an internal job. But what you do is when you're completely positive and confident and happy on the inside, you exude those characteristics that make you attractive to that woman. And therefore, she is happy because she is with a strong, confident man.
Wow. That is so profound. And it's true. You know, I can recall back in the day when I was young, I was in the gym trying to put on,
Yeah.
some muscles and get the chest, all
Mhm.
curved up, because of course, in that days, you're in the concept, the mindset
Yeah, and
of
it does work when you're young, right? But
attracting you.
as you grow as a couple, those feelings fade. What
Yeah.
real attraction is not looks.
Yeah, and that is so true. Only recently, I'm talking with my wife, and I asked the question that I asked, how does women see men? It sounds like a simple question, but as we went deeper into it, one of the things that we see is that a mature woman sees a man different than how a younger female may see a man.
Yeah.
And that correlates to exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
A younger person, they are not necessarily thinking about security. They are not necessarily thinking about a lot of things.
Yeah.
But a mature woman, she is going to, because of her knowledge and her experience, she is going to be thinking deep into a relationship. And that's how it should be. I think that
Not a doubt.
one of the missing link is that if we can help young men, or your platform can help young men and women to start thinking like mature, experienced men and women,
Mhm.
I do believe that it can save them a lot of stress.
Without a doubt. And I think, like I said, I wish I would have got it a lot younger, right? I wouldn't have struggled probably half as much as I did. The
Yeah,
thing is, you always hear those guys say they see this really beautiful woman with a guy and they're like, what is she doing with him? And I've
yeah,
talked to those women. I went to school, I've interviewed those women. You know what they all say? I feel safe around him. And they're not talking about,
exactly.
they're not talking about physically safe. They're talking emotionally safe. That's
Mhm.
what they want. They want someone to meet those emotional needs. And
Mhm.
when we're younger, we try to be big and strong and, I'll beat somebody up for you and all that stuff. Right. And that works because she's young too. And she doesn't really know what she wants out of life.
Yeah,
But as they mature, what they want is someone that is going to connect with them on an emotional level and make them feel safe. Because once they
mhm,
feel safe, then they can open up. A
yeah,
woman that doesn't feel emotionally safe will build walls to protect her,
very,
right?
exactly.
As soon as she
And
feels emotionally safe, those walls will come down.
I love that. And that is why I think having a strong sense of self is vital to helping that woman to have that sense of security.
One of
I
one of
think
my
having
one of my mentors told me, if you don't believe in yourself, how is she going to believe in you?
believe in you. Exactly, exactly. I do believe, however, that a lot of men uh, are not really exposed into environments that really helps them very early in life to nurture that strong sense of self. And
Yes.
that strong sense of self should be a sense of self that says, I'm unique, I'm special, I have the potential to achieve greatness, and I believe in myself enough to step out into the world
Mhm.
to make great things happen.
Right.
That is not the socialization of most men. So it's understandable why many men across the world will struggle with this. And this again is where the programs that you have designed and we're going to be looking at plays a pivotal role in this regard.
Yeah.
Moving to the sense of purpose. I do believe in life, having a sense of purpose, I think is important because it pushes you, the individual, to see beyond self. Because to live a purpose driven life, it's about how you are leveraging your substance, how you're leveraging your abilities, how you're leveraging your gifts to touch and transform the lives of
Mhm.
people around you. You can't live purpose or fulfill purpose unless it is impacting the life of people around you. And knowing that is important. What are your thoughts, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, you're 100% correct. It took me quite a while to figure it out, but I finally realized that God put us all on this planet to serve others,
Yeah,
right? That is our
yeah.
purpose, okay? The problem is we get it twisted when we're younger, right? Well, if I can, we all think about, okay, I got this woman and I have this family, how do I keep it? And we go about keeping it the wrong way, right? If I can just make enough money to provide for this family, we'll be good. If I can just buy her shiny things, she'll love me, right? All that stuff. That's not what it's really about. There's plenty of opportunities for women to go out there and work and buy all those things for themselves. They don't need men for that anymore, right?
Yeah.
What they need men for is to help them feel the way they want to feel inside.
Hmm.
And the only way to do that is with your own confidence, with your own sense of purpose, right? It boils down to they don't want to see you just go work a job and then sit at home at night.
Hmm.
They want to see, what am I doing to get better? What am I doing to be more financially successful? What am I doing to make sure that my kids lead better lives? What am I doing to be a better father? What am I doing to be a better husband? When they see you actually putting forth effort into all those things, that's where the attraction is. That's where I want to be with this man for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
I think all the above that you've just mentioned represents purpose,
It does. It's
represents
all about,
living from the
yeah,
position
you
of
have to
purpose.
figure out who you want to be, right? Everybody's like, who am I supposed to be? Well,
Hmm.
especially in this country, you have unlimited opportunity, but it's all
Hmm.
going to take some work, right? But
Hmm.
you got to figure out who it is that you really want to be.
Yeah.
And then you
You,
have to put forth the effort to make that goal come true.
I love what you're saying,
Mhm.
and I do believe in the United States of America, everything that you have said, represents the experience
Mhm.
and of men and women. It represents their socialization. What I've seen, however, because of travel, is that there are parts of the world who men are still the traditional men
Mhm.
and women are still the traditional women,
Mhm.
meaning that we still have men that are get up and get out there every day, and they feel joy, happiness, and excitement to do
Mhm.
that. And there are women today that they just stay at home and take care of the kids,
Mhm.
and they provide the mentorship, coach, and the education to their
Mhm.
kids, and they're quite comfortable with that.
Right.
So I'm seeing, depending on where you are in the world, tradition still holds, but I
Mhm.
do know for a fact in the developed world, there's a lot that is shifting in the developed world, which totally represent everything that you have spoken about. What I want to say very quickly, however, is that I want to say this to the public that, Chris is an exceptionally talented person. He knows real estate. He has made money from this industry. He is now a public speaker, but just, recognized and nominated for the Resilient Speaker of the Year. That's no easy accomplishment. But what Chris is also doing, he's building out platforms to really help men across the world to better understand how to optimize their role. And if you look on screen right now, you're seeing the Men's Forum 2025. In this description, you will find links. I want to encourage you to go to those links and become members of this community, and allow Chris to pour into you all of his best practices that is going to help you to understand how to become a stronger male, how to live from purpose, how to master your sense of direction, how to position yourself to build wealth, and, position yourself for greatness. All right. So like this program, subscribe to this program, share this program, go to the description and become a member of the community, so you can, position yourself for greatness. The beauty about this is that a lot of the work that Chris is going to be doing for now is going to be free, and this can cost you thousands of dollars. All right, but we have made a decision that we're going to give you information at this stage that can transform your life at zero cost. So do capitalize on it, because it's not going to be free for a long time. Chris, can we talk a little bit about what it takes as a man to have a strong sense of direction? Because, what I've I've seen sometimes you have a strong sense of self,
Mhm.
you have a strong sense of purpose. But if that energy, that awareness is not directed in a way to help you to get results, you still struggle. And I think having a strong sense of direction is where you can get up, you can go connect with the right people, you can, make things happen. How important is having that strong sense of direction is from your vantage point?
It's paramount, right? Like, I was taught that life is a staircase. And while you are walking up that staircase, you literally need to know what each step is. It's exactly, you know this already. It's exactly why my business is named what it is. In order to obtain any goal, you must first be properly aware of the steps. So, in order to be a driven person and a person that is trying to achieve his purpose, you need to have a daily routine of action steps to achieve that goal. And that's what the part that literally transformed my life is. I had a man that helped me figure out exactly what steps I needed to take on a daily basis to achieve this goal. And then when I achieved this goal, we set up another goal and we set up another set of action steps to achieve that goal.
Mhm.
And then it's not so daunting and it's not so overwhelming because now I know all I need to do is this every day and I can achieve this, right? When you're sitting back and you're like, oh my God, I want to make all this money to buy my wife the big house, and I want to have financial freedom and I want to do all that, that will drive you crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just say, okay, you know what? I want to achieve this. So if I do these 5 things on a daily basis, I can achieve this. And then you reset the goal and you come up with 5 things that it takes to achieve that goal. And you just continue to do that on a daily basis. Your life grows, you become more confident, you become more positive, and that's how that true purpose builds, right? It's through positivity and confidence. If you don't believe in yourself, you're never going to achieve anything. We
You're
talked
correct.
about this before, right? If I truly believe I can do something, it's already halfway done.
Hmm.
And that is the problem that I see with the majority of the men that I work with. They have
Yeah.
these goals and they want these things, but they have no clue how to make it happen.
What you're saying is so profound. And one of the reasons I directed this conversation in this way is because I think very often as young people, your eyes just focus on the money, making the
Mhm.
money. But then you don't have a strong sense of self and you don't know how a strong sense of self relates to making money. You don't have a strong sense of purpose and you don't know how that strong sense of purpose relates to making money.
Mhm.
And you don't have a strong sense of direction and you don't know how that strong sense of direction relates to making money. So I really love your format also, Chris, because I know for sure that you put a lot of emphasis that when you fix you as a man,
Mhm.
you fix your sense of self, your sense of purpose, your sense of direction, you are well on your way to making massive amounts of money because you have the self confidence.
Yeah,
You
without
have
a
that.
doubt. I mean, the thing was in the beginning when I started my transformation, I didn't like what I saw in the mirror. So that was
Hmm.
job number one, right? If how am I going to present myself to this world and be successful in this world if I hate what I'm looking at? So I had to fix that part first. And there were daily action steps that I had to take to fix that part. Then,
Yeah.
and only then, when I walked out the front door, I was ready to take on the world and everything that it throws at you, right?
Hmm.
You do not have positive coping mechanisms to deal with what life throws at you, guess what, man? You're going to fail big time because life
Hmm.
will throw all kind of crazy curveballs at you.
Yeah.
If
You.
if you're positive and you have a strong sense of self and you have tools that will help you when those curveballs get thrown at you, then you can knock them out of the park. And every time
Mhm.
you knock one of those little things out of the park, it continues to grow your positivity and your confidence so that you can take on the next thing to happen, right?
Wow.
So I was taught that life is not about what happens to you, it's about how you react to it.
Exactly, exactly. I love everything that you're saying, and I must say, I have two boy children, and it gives me such a sense of pride to sit them down and talk with them, and really help them to get the right perspective on life.
Mhm.
But I'm happy again to support you with this program because the method that we are giving our young ones to get out there and live life and embrace life and position themselves for greatness,
Mhm.
we can now use this platform and the many other platforms that we have in mind to touch the millions of, and people life
Mhm.
across the world. So I'm so happy to, be alongside you, supporting in the conversation and supporting in the information and sharing. I want us to come to a very important point, which is financial security.
Mhm.
Yes, depending on where you are in the world, we see that a lot of divorce takes place across the world, and a lot of it has to do with money, not just making money, but planning to sustain money, when you make it. There's a lot
Mhm.
of issues there. But let's leave out some of the complexity for now. And I want us to talk about financial security.
Mhm.
I'm going to share with you some of the things that I talk with my community in terms of money. I see today that many persons, we are trained, go to school, get a good education, and get a good job. And very often, many persons don't know what happens after getting the good job. So you find what happens, you can be making good money, but wealth is not created based on how much money you make.
Mhm.
Wealth is created based on how much money you're able to keep
Mhm.
and leverage in the right way. So some of
Yep.
the things that we talk about is really helping men to understand the true reason for work. And
Mhm.
what I would say, you work to earn, you earn to save, you save to invest,
Mhm.
and you invest to build wealth.
Right. Exactly.
And that is something that we have to unpack for them, so they know, okay, saving, there's a strategic reason behind saving, because you're not going to necessarily build wealth by simply saving. And one of the reasons I talk about this is because you may save $100, but at the end of the day, guess what happened? Inflation takes place. So that
Mhm.
$100 become $95.
Yeah.
So it has lost value.
Mhm.
But it doesn't, say that you should not save, but you're saving for a reason, because you're accumulating your savings to now
Mhm.
go into what we're going to call a smart investment
Mhm.
fund, a smart investment portfolio.
Mhm.
Whatever that is, you men need to start understanding that your single source of income in the modern world is totally inadequate.
Mhm.
And for you to be the caregiver, for you to help your spouse to embrace their dreams and hopes and aspirations, for you to do as much as you want to do for your children,
Mhm.
and a single source of income is not enough. And if you don't understand financial intelligence, we see a lot of men are struggling right here,
Mhm.
because they're good men in the world. They
Mhm.
want to do good by their spouses, they want to do good by them kids, but a single source of income is inadequate. And
Mhm.
no one is not, sitting with them and say, okay, let's look at some short-term financial plans. Let's look at some long-term financial plans. Let's work with you to position you to build wealth.
Mhm.
Again, I'm happy that through this collaboration, through what you're doing, and through this collaboration, this platform, Men's Forum, is really built out to ensure that men not only know how to do it, but as time
Mhm.
progresses, we will be literally be showing them the step by step and positioning them with the step by step to elevate themselves out of the financial challenge
Mhm.
and the financial, struggle that we see many
Yeah.
young rising stars are faced with. How important is financial intelligence for men, and from your standpoint, Chris?
I think so I look at it like this, right? We talked about it before. The traditional thing is you go get a good job, you put much as you can in your 401k, and then you live off that 401k when you get old, right?
Yeah,
But I was faced with this issue is, okay, I want to save enough money to be comfortable when I can't work anymore.
yeah,
But the problem is you don't know what that amount of money is. You don't know
yeah,
how long you're going to live. You don't know how much money you need in retirement. So the goal is to achieve financial freedom, where it means no matter how long I live, I'm going to build wealth to where not only I have enough money to do what I want to do in retirement, I'm also leaving money for my kids to do the things that they want to do in life, be successful in their ways, pay for college, pay for all those kinds of things, right? So just putting 20% in your 401k every week is not going to accomplish that goal.
yeah.
right?
Love that.
There used to be unions and all this stuff and pensions, and I watched my father do that. He busted his butt. He paid into a pension, with the Teamsters Union and all those kinds of things, and he was okay. But you know what happened? He died.
Mm-hmm.
And then my mom literally had to move in with me because she was on Social Security and she couldn't even pay for her medication. I did
Yeah.
not want that to happen to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you need more than one income stream. You need to build passive income so that when you get old and you can't work anymore, not only are you living on what you made, you still have passive income coming in.
Brilliant, brilliant. Chris, I really love what you said, passive income.
Mhm.
And passive income is more than, 401k. Passive income, it's about understanding a little bit about financial market. Passive income, it's about understanding a little bit about ETFs, exchange trade funds. Passive income, it's about perhaps coming together as a family and saying, okay, let's buy a real estate portfolio, not as a liability, but let us buy this as an income producing asset,
Yep.
and position that piece of asset to offset, your principal and interest, tax and insurance, and leave massive amount of profits for you. But along with the profit, because it's going to be an income producing asset,
Mhm.
you have equity that is being built up.
Mhm.
All right. And you can take out that equity and put it into a snowball
Mhm.
of that passive income streams
Mhm.
that you're talking about. So again, what I love about what you're doing, Chris, you have years of experience in construction. We are now collaborating to help men to really understand a blueprint that they can use not only to find themselves, not only to live from purpose, not only to have a strong sense of direction, but to also help them to understand how to position themselves to build wealth.
Mhm.
Because, all the things that you have spoke about, Chris, as a male, you want to make sure that you can provide for your spouse in the event that something happens.
Mhm.
You want to know that you can provide for your kids. They want to get on to college. They want to get exposure to the best education.
Mhm.
They may want to start a business. I think the role of the male is significantly more amplified and more significant when they understand what it takes to be the head of their home. So I think everything that we have covered here today has so much of relevance to being the head of the home. It's not just a title. I think some men look at it as a title. Not that I want to hit on men, but I think a man with a family is a tremendous responsibility is given to you. And you're like the shepherd of the sheep, and the sheep needs to be given nurturing and support and direction. And for you to be a competent shepherd of the family,
Mhm.
you need to understand everything that you have just spoken about there, Chris. What the platform that we have designed that you're bringing to the public can help men to do. Your thoughts, Chris, and then when we come back, I want us to look at the
Yeah.
issue of social security for
Oh
women.
yeah, yeah. I think look, this is the thing, right? It's okay. That's the first thing I had to realize. It was okay that I didn't have it all figured out, right?
Yeah,
We're not on an island.
exactly.
You know what I mean? We there's help out there. I'm help. That's why we created this platform is to help guys figure it out, right?
Yeah,
So first thing they need to realize, it's okay that they don't have it all figured out, but there are ways, and this platform is going to be the best way possible for you to learn how to figure it out. And you're going
exactly.
to learn because you and I and everybody else that's going to be involved in this has failed and learned how to get back up. Michael Jordan failed. I watched a documentary on him, and when they were talking about all these records he set and how many baskets he made and all that, he says, yeah, but you guys never talk about all the baskets that I missed. Right? Like life is full of ups and downs, and
Yeah,
nobody has it all figured out. But with help, we can get better every day. And that's what this platform is set up for. My
yeah,
goal and your goal is to help men get better and get
yeah.
better on a daily basis.
Chris, I really enjoy when you speak, my brother. You talk about getting help.
Yeah.
And it is so important to humble yourself at times, and just connect with mentor, connect with coach, connect with with a sponsor, connect with a supportive community
Mhm.
that can help you navigate the rough terrains of life. Life
Mhm.
is not necessarily smooth. There's a lot of rough terrains. But what
Mhm.
I love about what you're saying, think about this. You're young, you want to embrace life, you want to be successful, but you're doing this all on your own. No knowledge, no experience, no level of maturity to make, better, smarter, wiser
Yeah,
decisions.
yeah.
You're at a loss. But
Mhm.
if you have the right mentor, coach, sponsor, supportive community, like what you're talking about, like
Mhm.
what we're building out here for them,
Mhm.
they are literally going to accelerate their learning.
Mhm.
And because their learning and knowledge is going to be significantly accelerated, it's going to significantly enhance the pace in which they achieve their goal. And their goal is to play a prominent role as the head of the home, men
Right.
as the head of the home.
Yeah.
So I really love the way you
I
form
think
your
the thing
words.
is,
And
it's right.
go
We
ahead.
both we both wish that there was something like this out there when we were younger, right? Like
Of course, Chris.
I stumbled through life for 40 something years, right? Before I had some guys that I had to get desperate enough to be willing enough to ask for help. And then the help
Yeah.
was there. My
Hmm.
goal is to give men a platform to where they ask for help a lot sooner so that they don't have to
Exactly.
wait so long.
You're right. I could recall when I was now becoming
Mhm.
to be a father.
Mhm.
I'm asking myself, what is the book on fatherhood?
Yeah.
you know, and I could have leaned back on some good experience that I had with my dad because my dad is an alpha male.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess because of his military background,
Mhm.
he was a hustler. But then I think he left us very early in life. He's right where you are in Florida.
Mhm.
So there was that void. So I had to figure things out.
Mhm.
I know exactly the quality of life that he had exposed us to. We had a
Mhm.
pretty good middle class life.
Mhm.
But guess what? Because he left, he went to North America, he started to live his life in North America. I only learned about the role of a man up to a point. So I had to figure things out. And when I combine everything that he would have done, all the positive seeds that he would have planted, he and my mom, I still say to myself, I want more for my kids.
Mhm.
And I had to figure things out. I had to develop my
Yeah.
blueprint. And I'm happy to say that based on developing that blueprint, based on saying that I need more for my kids, guess what? I have positioned each and every one of my kids
Mhm.
to experience and know what is financial independence.
Yeah. Yeah.
That for me as a male,
Yeah.
it rubs my ego in a good way all the time because it is a major accomplishment. Knowing for me that some of the challenges that I would have gone through in life, they don't have to go through it. They don't have a clue of what some of those challenges are. I'm not saying that sometimes challenges is not good because I do believe that challenges sometimes helps to refine who you are
They do.
because you learn from the process.
Mhm.
And I have taken all of this and I put that into my blueprint of helping them to learn what is life, to navigate
Right.
life, and also know what is some of the pain and how to push through
Yeah.
those pain. But you're
Yeah.
right again,
Yeah.
having someone on your side to guide you through this
Yeah,
is
I think the
magical.
main thing is that right. You're right. We are supposed to learn from our mistakes, right?
Yeah,
I was given a quote one time that said, "If you do not learn from your mistake, you are destined to repeat it over and over and over and over."
yeah,
Right. So just because you made a mistake doesn't mean you're learning from it. You're supposed to learn from it.
I mean, yeah,
But the problem is that we don't seek guidance to learn, right? Once we become an adult male, our ego and our pride and all these things make it to the point to where we think we got it, everything figured out, and we won't ask for help. We won't listen to other people, right? So we
yeah,
stumble and we stumble and we stumble until we
yeah,
are we are willing to know, you know what? This guy's made more mistakes than me, so maybe he might know a little more than me, right?
yeah,
Maybe if I listen to him, it'll be a little easier. I can figure it out a little easier.
yeah.
What sucks as a human being is most of us have to wait till we get to a point of desperation to realize that.
That's so true.
Yeah.
That is so true, and again, when you speak from wisdom, you speak from knowledge, you speak from experience, and
Mhm.
I
And a
do
whole
believe,
lot of pain.
and
That's
a
the
whole lot
thing,
of
right?
it.
Is that's the thing is that people got to understand is yes, I have made it to this point now, but there was a whole lot of pain and struggle and mistakes and all that to get to where I am.
Yeah.
And our
Yeah.
goal in this platform is to shield them from some of that, give them a
That
way out
part.
sooner.
Yeah. I do believe that when you have grown through your pain,
Mhm,
and your pain now has become your message.
mhm,
Uh, to me, that is refined knowledge. It is refined knowledge because
mhm.
you've been through that pain and
Yeah.
you've figured out how to navigate it.
Mhm.
You have a blueprint of
Yeah.
navigating some of the challenges in life, and
Yeah.
that could be a goal and to many persons who
Mhm.
are still in that struggle and
Yeah.
just don't know how to escape the struggle.
Yeah.
So I'm certain that this platform it has so much to offer for men around the world to really help them to understand, what it takes to be, a strong male. All
Yeah.
right. So regardless of what your spouse may be doing, you want to know your role as a leader, and to your role as a leader is not necessarily of exercising super control. It's about being a good mentor. It's about being a good coach. It's
Mhm.
about being a good provider. It's about helping those in your community to get their wings to fly. And so there's a lot for us to go into. Chris, we're about to wrap up here today,
Mhm.
and I don't want this conversation to end because I'm enjoying every bit of it.
Mhm.
But I want us to talk a little bit before we wrap up about social security. In my adult life, I'm talking with women, and this seems to be at the top of their priority.
Mhm.
As we talk with men, we find sometimes that men are not aware of this. And you mentioned something early on when men are aware of their roles
Mhm.
as men
Mhm.
and they're able to mirror it in the eyes
Mhm.
of the women,
Mhm.
it makes them look more attractive.
Mhm.
How do you view this concept of social security?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's something that it took me quite a long time to figure out, but I finally realized through trial and errors that it all comes from the sense of self that we were talking about earlier, right? Like
Yeah,
literally confidence exudes attraction, positivity, confidence. That
yeah,
all comes from what's coming inside of you. Like you ever heard somebody say that guy is the light in the darkness or he shines, right? That is all internal. And that's where the social comes from is if you're walking down the road and you're a positive, confident man and you're well dressed and you exude that confidence, what's somebody going to say when they walk by you? Man, I don't know what that guy's got, but he's got it going on and I want some of it, right? Right. And
say,
and I used to walk by these guys and I'd be like, man, what is he doing that I'm not doing?
hmm
And then I finally realized that he worked on the inside. We
yeah,
all we all do all this external work, right?
yeah.
Because we think that's what it takes. It's the internal work that is
It's
the
the
most
internal
critical.
work.
Yeah.
Wow, I love that. You fix the inner you.
Mhm.
You refine the inner beauty,
Yeah.
and
And and when you
it's
fall down, you get back up. Like you're never going to be this supreme, confident, positive being 100% of the time, right?
yeah,
But if you have these action steps that you know when you're not being that guy, you know exactly the steps to take to get back to being that guy, then
yeah,
then you have it figured out. I
exactly.
still I still every morning get up and tell myself I love you 10 times in the mirror after I take a shower. I've been doing it for 14 years. You would think that I don't have to do it anymore, but it's part of my routine to make sure that I am that guy that shines when I walk out the door.
What I love about what you're saying there, you're starting your day from a point of gratitude. You have gratitude that you're alive, you're a person. Yeah, you still have a lot of, fight in you to get
Yeah.
out there and make things happen. And you're
Mhm.
acknowledging that.
Yeah.
I think it's a good place to start, and
Mhm.
I really love that. Chris, again, I want to emphasize to the listening audience that this is the first episode of Men's Forum. The objective of Men's Forum is to really help men to get a blueprint and to help them to exercise mastery over their lives. All right. Our genuine belief is that as a man, you should not be a representation of lack, limitation, doubts, and fear, but you should be a representation of abundance.
Mhm.
And what Chris has spent most of his adult life doing is studying, researching, developing content, positioning himself as a public speaker to reach millions of people across the world to really help men to understand how to flow from their abundance.
Yeah.
And this platform here is designed to give you those step by steps. And so you can get out there in the world and be a man, embrace your manhood, and touch and transform everything around you, because man, you got that magic inside of you to make that spouse feel happy and loved and excited, and to make your kids want to look up to you, because you're doing everything the right way. All right, you're living from your abundance. So, Chris, any last words you want to share before we wrap up today's program?
Yeah, I just want to say it's exactly why this platform was created. I realized when I was really struggling that there are tons of resources out there for women when they're dealing with these kind of issues,
Yeah.
trauma, but there's not a lot out there for men because they don't even think that we need it, right? I want this to be the platform that men can go to and feel free to talk about any issue.
Yeah.
We will talk about fear. We will talk about childhood trauma. We will talk about building wealth. We will talk about tons of things that I know there are millions of men dealing with on a daily. And my goal is to let them know that there is a resource right here where no matter what they are going through, all I want to do is help them get through it.
And Chris, I do believe that you are definitely one of the best persons on the planet to help men navigate this process. And let me say a couple of the reasons why. One, you have success. Two, you understand the high and the low. All right. You've hit some of the lows and you have recovered from that with flying colors. You have also leveraged your lows to not just triumph and pump your chest up just for you, but you're now leveraging some of your lows to help people. What I love about this is that you went out and you get yourself academically qualified. You studied in counseling, you studied in coaching, you're certified in this field, and you are equipped with not only knowledge and experience, but you're equipped with the academics, the principles, the step-by-step approaches that can truly touch and transform people's lives. So and you continue to go after success. I love working with you too, Chris, because I think that you are not just the top. You're an actor. I know an unfortunate incident happened, and without even thinking, I noticed that you adopted your two young ones into your life because of the unfortunate incident, and you're now being a father, you're being a mentor, you're being a coach. So it tells me that you were born to do exactly what you're doing today, and it's a pleasure to be working with you, my friend.
Yeah, I believe wholly that in order for someone to truly help you with what you're dealing with, they had to have walked through that fire themselves. And as people on this platform get to know me, they'll realize that I've walked through a whole lot of fires, but I've come out the other side. And that's exactly why God put me through those things, is so I can help other men get through them.
All right, Chris, great talking with you. I think we had a lot of fun today, and the fun is now beginning to get started, because I know there's so much, for us to unpack from these conversations that we're going to be having. So thanks.
Sure. I look forward to when we're launch this and we do this every Sunday. It's going to be the highlight of my week, because my life is about helping men. That's all my life's about.
Definitely. So for the public, I just want to say, like, subscribe, and follow. All right. Comment. Let us know how you're enjoying the program, how you're gelling with the program. And there's a lot of information that we're going to be giving and sharing with men. We are going to be building out communities. Again, go to the description right now, and I want you to get registered to be part of the men's forum, because in the men, there's a lot that we're going to discuss, but a lot may not be discussed on this platform. But when you come into the community, we're going to go deeper into those, concepts. Along with that, Chris is a specialist, and he will be able to give you one-on-one consultations to really help you to deal with your specific concern or concerns, because on this platform, we're speaking broadly. You may have specific needs as a man. Chris is the expert that is going to really help you to unlock those challenges and figure out how to navigate them and come into your abundance. My role is simply to help you to understand financial intelligence and really position you to do better financially. Along with that, I must say there's so much more, because Chris is going to be two platforms. He has the family forum. While he's focusing on men, Chris is concerned about, healthy families. So he will also be talking to you about how the family forum is going to be bringing families together and helping families to work together to make massive breakthrough in life. The ultimate vision here with Chris is to help men, to help the family to live from abundance, not lack, not limitation, not doubts, not fear, but to help you to live from abundance. Thanks, Chris. Thanks for being here with me.
Thank you.
Welcome, my friend.